Greetings aspirants. Today let's talk about another concept from the subject environment and ecology, that is major air pollutants and greenhouse gases. Now here we need to understand what is the difference between the both terms. Air pollutants are not necessarily greenhouse gases. Now here we need to understand the difference between both the terms. The term air pollutant means that it is a contaminant or a toxic that is released into the atmosphere and is not easily degradable and causes ill effects on the human health or the ecosystem. But a greenhouse gas is something that is responsible for trapping the solar radiation and not allowing the solar radiation to escape the Earth's surface, and hence increases the temperature on the Earth's surface, causing the global warming. So air pollutants necessarily do not rise the temperature of the Earth's surface and they do not cause global warming, but are harmful to human health or the entire ecosystem. Right. Now, after knowing the difference, let's begin with carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is not a greenhouse gas, but it is an air pollutant. This carbon monoxide gas is odorless and colorless gas, and this is produced due to incomplete burning of fossil fuels or carbonaceous fuels. Now, carbonaceous fuels are those fuels which have carbon compounds in them, and this is produced during the combustion of wood, petrol, coal, natural gas, kerosene in domestic and simple stoves, and open fires, wick lamps, furnaces, and fireplaces. So it is to be understood that it is not only released from industrial sources but also domestic sources. Now, the predominant source of the carbon monoxide is the exhaust of the motor vehicles. Let's move on and see what happens when this carbon monoxide is released into the atmosphere. One more source of carbon monoxide to be being released into the atmosphere is smoking. So smoking also releases carbon monoxide, and hence both active smoking and passive smoking is injurious to human health. Right? Now, this carbon monoxide, when inhaled, reacts with the hemoglobin in the blood and forms carboxyhemoglobin, and which makes the cells to bind oxygen difficult. So the cells of the body cannot bind oxygen and hence degrades the tissues or the cells in the body. Now, exposure to carbon monoxide can also cause difficulties in breathing, exhaustion, dizziness, and flu-like symptoms. And recently in news, we have seen that 2 Indian students in USA died due to the inhalation of carbon monoxide that is released from room heaters. So we should be aware that this carbon monoxide can also be deadly and is very injurious to health. Moving on, let's talk about carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is naturally present in the atmosphere, and increased carbon dioxide is increasing the global temperature and hence is a greenhouse gas. And it's the primary greenhouse gas leading to global warming, and this is an odorless gas which is heavier than air. And it is also important to know that carbon dioxide is an asphyxiant. What is asphyxiation? It is suffocating. So inhalation of carbon dioxide can lead to suffocation and hence sometimes death. Now, we are aware that carbon dioxide is soluble in water and hence is naturally found in glaciers, in groundwater and seawater. And In exam point of view, it is important to know that it is a greenhouse gas. Moving on, let's talk about sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is a colorless gas and is readily soluble in water. And this sulfur dioxide is predominantly derived from combustion of fossil fuels that is used in industries and for power generation. And also, it is released during domestic heating. Now, this sulfur dioxide is associated with asthma. Sulfur dioxide is an air pollutant, and this gas, when reacts with water vapor, produces acid rain. We all know the ill effects of acid rain, the monuments that degrade because of the acid rain, and it causes irritation in the eye and skin, and it causes bronchitis and such things. And recently we can see in news, there is something called as climate catch 22. In China, recently scientists have seen that the reduction in the emissions of sulfur dioxide is causing temperature rise, that is 0.7 degrees centigrade has risen in China since 2014. Now the scientists are affixed in order to understand what is happening and why is the reduction in sulfur dioxide is causing the temperature to rise and what can be done to cool the temperature. Right. Now let's see what is ozone and how is it a pollutant. Ozone is of two types. One, the stratospheric ozone, that which protects us from the UV rays, and the next is tropospheric ozone or the ground level ozone, which is the air pollutant. This tropospheric ozone is also called as ground level ozone, and this acts as air pollutant. This is again an odorless gas and is very highly irritating. And this ozone is not directly emitted into the atmosphere. It is formed when there are interactions between carbon monoxide and compounds of nitrogen oxide and volatile organic compounds. Volatile organic compounds are compounds that which evaporates easily. They are volatile in nature. Examples such as formaldehyde. When they combine, they form photochemical smoke. So understand, and also they form ozone. And this is ground level ozone. So both photochemical smog and ozone are air pollutants. We can see that always in news we find that Delhi NCR region is affected due to poor air quality and there is lot of smog. So what is happening there? The carbon monoxide that is being released from stubble burning and nitrogen oxide compounds from vehicular exhaust, when they are combined with volatile organic compounds, are creating smog, and hence we usually find that NCR region is heavily covered in photochemical smog, another air pollutant. Now let's see that ozone is most likely to reach unhealthy levels on hot sunny days because the reactions that we have just seen happens in the presence of sunlight. Right, and we can also see the presence of ozone even in winter days, but it is likely to happen more during sunny days. And this ozone can be easily transpersed with the help of wind, and they travel long distance, and hence the ozone that is created in urban areas also travel to the rural areas, and rural areas also can experience high ozone levels. These ozone levels can cause asthma and respiratory disorders. And this is important that ozone is both an air pollutant and a greenhouse gas. Next, let's see what are CFCs or chlorofluorocarbons. In 1860s, the late 19th century, scientists have started using this chlorofluorocarbons as refrigerants and in refrigerators and air conditioners and also in aerosol sprays because they're stable, they're non-toxic, and they're non-inflammable. The gases that are used previously, they were causing fire accidents and they were not very stable, and hence they switched to chlorofluorocarbons. And by the end of the century, they found that the ozone is depleting. The ozone layer of the earth, the stratospheric ozone layer, is depleting very fast. So what was happening there? The chlorine atoms in the chlorofluorocarbon are reacting with the ozone layer and they're forming ClO plus oxygen. And this again is reacting with the ozone layer and forming ClO2 plus oxygen. This is very volatile in nature, and hence this splits back into the chlorine atom and the oxygen. Now we can see the same chlorine atom is again here. It is seen that one chlorine atom can react with 1 lakh ozone molecules. And you can see how very less amount of chlorine atoms can destroy the ozone layer easily. And this is what happened in the late 19th century. And hence, there were international actions that are being taken to reduce the ozone depleting substances and to find an alternative to it. And chlorofluorocarbons are not a greenhouse gas. They do not increase the surface temperature, but they are ozone depleting gases. So it is very important in the exam point of view to know where all these CFCs are used. So it is used in refrigeration, in aerosol propellants like spray cans, in foam blowing agents, in solvents, in medical inhalers, in fire extinguishers, in electronic component cleaning and degreasing agents. So today we have understood the term air pollutants and greenhouse gases, how they're different, and we have seen various air pollutants and greenhouse gases. Thank you.